Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at pitching for today, the 25th of May. It is Sunday. We do have a 9-game slate ahead of us, starting in a little over 2.5 hours. This is a first look at the pitching options on the slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I would cut my pool into a half or so. Pricing isn't as tight. You don't have to be as creative. Allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, on this particular slate, do we have upper tier-ish pitching? Not exactly. It's very interesting. I was checking out our ownership projections initially, and we have 9 pitchers projected at 11% or higher. Really spread out. It's very intriguing. If you can narrow it down quite a bit, you'll be able to get pretty overweight and get some leverage on a number of different pitchers on the slate. And if you get those right, you're in a pretty good spot. Looking over at the weather, blowing in from center in St. Louis, that game has the lowest total on the slate, so that's interesting. Cold-ish in Chicago. In Minnesota, probably a decent spot. Warm, slightly blowing out in Tampa Bay again, probably a tough spot to rely on. Cincinnati, across the field, 70. Probably better for hitters than pitchers, but a couple pitchers in that game are interesting. Blowing in Washington, pretty solid for a guy like Robbie Ray, blowing in from left field. Out in Pittsburgh, but obviously Pittsburgh not the best offensive ballpark in baseball. Cool and blowing in Boston. Very interesting because you have two teams that strike out a good amount, but we also have Dean Kramer versus Walker Buehler. So, let's just jump in and see if we can't get a feeling one way or another. I do have a lot of names written down here on this slate just from a props perspective. So I haven't really started to eliminate many guys yet, but we're going to try to in this video. Robbie Ray versus Soroka. We're going to utilize Robbie Ray, super volatile, especially when pitching on the road. Makes mistakes, walks, etc. I've talked about it numerous times. I think he pitches more to try to pick up strikeouts on the road, pitches more to contact at home because of that ballpark. I think we have to utilize him on this slate because he has arguably, the highest ceiling, or one of the highest ceilings, I should say. He's got the number 1 K prop on the slate at 6.5, juice to the under. Plus 120 to earn the W, which as I scan real quickly is the second best number on this particular slate, behind Luis Castillo of all people. Robbie Ray just going to be in play. Mike Soroka, 8 strikeouts in 2 out of his last 3 starts, showing some upside. Now, this is a guy that was a big-time name coming up with the Braves years ago. Injuries, etc., have really caused some problems. Initially, I think he was viable. His K-prop's 5.5, juice to the under, which is tied for the 3rd best K-prop on the slate, or 4th best, I should say, as I scan through them. But he's plus 320 to earn the W, despite Washington being just plus 140. I'm going to guess that Soroka doesn't make my pool, but he is interesting to me because he does have K upside. Not that I don't necessarily believe that San Francisco is a big K squad, but let's take a look here. They're in the bottom 3rd on the season, so especially away. So that might change my mind here. 3rd most strikeouts per game on the road. Very interesting now that I see that live while we're recording this. So maybe Soroka just finds his way in my build. It's going to be interesting because it's going to be difficult to cut down to 8 or so pitchers for me and how I build my pitcher pool. Walker Buehler. He was ejected his last start, in his first start back from the IL. Was throwing the ball pretty well. I'm intrigued just because he does have upside, but I mean, when he's off, he's off. Baltimore lineup has struggled quite a bit, so his K prop's just 4.5, and it's basically a pick 'em. He's plus 245 during the W, which is a little frustrating considering Boston is a minus 125 favorite. I think I'm gonna have to use him, but man, I do kind of want to fade him. Dean Kramer hasn't looked good the last couple starts. Had a couple starts in a row where he was good. I'm not sure what his history is against Boston. He's been horrendous on the road, like just absolutely god awful. K-Prop at 4.5 juice to the over, plus 180 during the W. The reason that he kind of stood out to me right now is the fact that Boston's lineup dropped before I started recording this, and it's not great. Aside from Duran and Devers at the top, Abreu in the 3 spot. Story's not in the lineup. Obviously, Bregman's hurt. Just does not look the greatest. With like, I don't even know if Nick Sogard's playing first or if it's Toro or whatever. Just looks really weak without some names. So I think there's some upside to him. I want to look into some of his history against Boston or in that ballpark, but the props tell me to not play either pitcher in that game. But man, it's tough considering the strikeout upside in the matchup. Baltimore, 3rd most Ks per game. Boston, 5th most. So Boston hasn't been striking out as much recently because they were up here in these top couple spots for a while. They're slowly coming down. So they don't strike out as much at home. Baltimore strikes out more on the road. Maybe it's that simple when it comes to making decisions and eliminate guys. I'm not sure yet. That's going to be a tough game for me to figure out. Logan Henderson has been phenomenal in his 3 major league starts, taking on Pittsburgh, who is scoring the fewest runs in baseball per game. We have to pay a decent price tag for Henderson, but K-Prop of 5.5 juice to the under. Like I mentioned, the 3rd or 4th best K-Prop on the slate. Tied for the 4th best, I guess. Plus 140 during the W, which is very similar to Chris Bubich, who we talk about later. Slightly worse than Ray's plus 120. Probably going to be fairly popular, to be honest. Bailey Falter has not allowed a run in each of his last 3 appearances. 21 plus fantasy points in 3 out of 4. I was hoping to not have to consider him, but I think I'm going to against this Milwaukee team. Falter is plus 300 during the W, which not great. Not great at all. K-Prop of just 3.5. Juice to the over, but still, K-Prop is not good either. But I think he's actually just a better spot than both pitchers in this Baltimore-Boston game, which is weird to say, considering the strikeouts. But I'll have to look into Milwaukee against left-handed pitching. But in general, I think left-handed pitchers are the better route to go against the Brewers. Toronto, Tampa Bay. Bassett shut down Tampa Bay the one time he faced them. Hasn't been as strong on the road, but I mean, I do think he's viable. I just don't think I'm going to end up there. Bassett's K-Prop's at 4.5 juice to the over. Plus 170 during the W. While Pepiot is plus 185. With a K-Prop of 4.5 juice to the under. Did strike out 7 against Toronto in his one start, but 9 home runs in 40 innings at home this season. That's a pretty big number in this ballpark. Stronger names here, but I just don't think we need to go there. Ben Brown, super volatile, can't give up home runs, but a lot of strikeout upside. So because of that, he's going to be in my pool, tied for the second best K-Prop at 5.5 juice to the over. He's a minus 135 favorite, plus 195 during the W. There's volatility because we know Cincinnati's a dangerous offense, and this ballpark allows runs, but he's been phenomenal. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal. He's been really strong on the road. And being a favorite here, I like the potential upside. There's super volatility there, but Upside is what we're looking for, and I like it. Nick Lodolo gives up plenty of home runs at home, so there's volatility here, but there is plenty of upside. Shut down Colorado in Coors, probably not as impressive as it once was, but he's capable. I like the upside. Obviously, his home starts have been pretty bad, so that might be one thing that removes him from the pool, but K-prop of 4.5 juice to the over, plus 220 to earn the W. So he's one that I could see not ending up in my pool. I'm a sucker for Lodolo's upside and ability. Sometimes I have to talk myself out of that. Patrick Corbin, a guy that's been super surprising, but he's been really bad on the road. So what's going to happen here? Colder in Chicago. He's been giving up some runs, but there's K upside in his arm yet somehow. Chicago's been kind of pest-y. Corbin's K-prop's 4.5 juice to the under, but he's plus 165 to earn the W, despite Texas only being minus 125 favorite. I think Corbin's just going to default into my pool, but to be honest, I actually would not blame you if you removed him from your pool at all and took that chance. The White Sox have just been kind of the annoying opponent. I want to dig into what they've done against left-handed pitching, but from a strikeout standpoint, I mean, they're bottom third, but I mean, numbers are fine. Recent numbers a little lower than that. Home numbers are lower. So, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. We'll kind of have to look into what they do against left-handed pitching. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know Chase Meadroth has been pretty solid at the top of the order since being activated. Davis Martin, maybe we go there. I don't necessarily love it. Don't really want to rely on a White Sox pitcher. But I think the atmosphere or the pitching environment is decent in this ballpark. K-prop of 3.5 juice to the over. Plus 200 to earn the W. Game total is 8.5 juice to the under, which is like the 4th or 5th lowest on the slate. But he's just another name similar to, if we're using Soroka, we're using Falter, Kramer, those guys. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into some Texas versus Martin. I know Peterson went on the IL. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing for Davis Martin, I'm not really sure. Luis Castillo, a guy that I just have not been using a ton. We have used recently. He was solid against this Houston squad the one time he faced them. He's been worse on the road. That's kind of been a running thing for him the last couple of years with Seattle. Coming off of a great start, but that was against the White Sox on the road. Castillo's props are decent. He's plus 105 to earn the W, which is the best on the slate. K-prop of 4.5 juice to the over. I think Castillo is going to just default into the pool, but I don't really want to go there. Colton Gordon, there's K upside here. K-prop of 4.5, but I just don't think I'm going to take him against the Mariners. He's allowed 3 runs in each of his starts. Not like he's been dominant. KC, Minnesota. I wish Ober had props. The Twins are minus 125 favorites. Game total of 8 juice to the under. So he's a favorite. Bubic is plus 145 to earn the W despite being an underdog. And I've said it this week a lot. Left-handed pitching against Minnesota right now. Even with Correa back, the rest of the lineup should be weak enough. Bubic is K-prop at 5.5 juice to the under. I think both pitchers very much in play. Kansas City has struggled a bit recently, so I like both pitchers. Tough matchup here, the last one. Gray versus Fott. Lowest total on the slate at 7.5 juice to the under. I think it's weather related. Sonny Gray, 5.5 juice to the over on the K's. Fott, 4.5 juice to the under. I think I'm going to end up on Sonny Gray and off of Fott. Fott's been giving up some home runs recently on the road. He's been atrocious, so there's no real reason to go there. But Sonny Gray, a tough opponent, but still, over the last couple of years, he's thrown really well in St. Louis, so I think we're going to rely on that and just go there. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.